everyone, welcome back to another Gym Empires 4 commentary. I am Beyond, and as always, thank you so much for the support in the past couple videos and the channel as a whole. If you are enjoying the content, please do drop a subscribe, and if you are enjoying this video, please do drop a like. Both of them help me out a ton, and they mean a lot to me. Let's get right into this video. On the left-hand side of the map, in the blue, we have Vortix as the Ottomans. The Spanish bro, you probably know him from him and his brother Lucifron. They've been absolutely tearing up the scene recently, especially at Golden League. And today we get to see his Ottomans take on the English, which is not a favorable matchup for the Ottomans, and we'll get into later. And on the right-hand side, we have Minato 823 as the English player. Both high-level Conqueror players. Obviously, Vortix is a pro. So we'll see if Minato has something in his sleeve to allow him to beat one of the Spanish bros. Now, that being said, it is heavily in favor of the English. In the Conqueror level and above, it's a 43.9% win rate for the Ottomans, which means they don't do super well, and that's probably for a lot of reasons. The English have really good control in feudal age, and that's what the Ottomans are also incredibly good at. They did receive a few nerfs as well, which may have an impact on the recent stats. The Ottomans themselves, I believe I mentioned in a few videos in my last Ottoman video. So that could be playing a role. Also, of course, the Ottomans get free units from their military buildings and their academies, but those usually pop out with spearmen, which can get absolutely dusted by longbowmen. And then when it kind of comes to it, if you don't heavily invest in a feudal age rush, and a lot of times the English player can kind of take advantage of that, you're susceptible to a rush because you have so many extra production buildings, because not only do you have the military buildings, but you also have your own production. If you put them out front, you're susceptible to rams. If you put them out back, then obviously it's going to be a little bit longer for them to get to it, and your town center is susceptible to that rush as well. So interesting to see how Vortix kind of counters that kind of strategy, or I mean, if Minato is going to actually go for it. We don't know either way. It could be one of those things where they might go two town centers. So I guess it's going to be interesting to see. That is the standard kind of meta, quote unquote, right now. I think for the English is two TCs. I think it's just more of an economic-based game currently. There's the Council Hall, which is the only option these days. Everyone was super excited when they dropped Season 4 that everyone's going to be using that King and King's Abbey. Abbey of memes. It was just a really bad landmark, and you know, actually, here we are. It's still a bad landmark. And so that all that talk about the feudalism rush, we're not gonna get it, because as you can see, we have lots of stone going down. All right, well, that was interesting. Don't think that is what they wanted to do. A slight misclick there. I believe they just wanted to keep them going back and forth, because that is not enough for a town center if that's what they're going for. Then they wanted to move them over to the gold afterwards. We have the golden elephant in the middle. I love that statue. It's a great one. What is Vortix rocking? Just standard. No, nothing too shiny. We have the twin minaret, which is always, I mean, that's also pretty much the standard one for the Ottomans as well. It allows you to collect food, about 4 civilian villagers each, and they kind of rotate around and around. So there we go. The military school is finally going down in the exact same spot that it was destroyed before. So Vortix not really going for any too early of an aggression, anything like that. And both players, it seems like there's a gentleman's agreement to go into at least maybe Castle Age, or at least a later timing feudal age push. Because this is definitely going to be a second town center for sure. Once I believe they get up to 375, they're going to pull all these off of stone and move up. Vortix is the one that hits H2 first. Going to be going for stone as well. But that, it's just the standard English trying to pick off a scout by having their civilians pop into their thing. Be careful of that earlier in the ladder. I know I'm an English player, so I do this all the time. In Platinum and below, if you're not paying attention quick enough, they're just gonna stash all of these civilians into here, and your scout's gonna die in like 4 seconds. So just be careful of that when you're playing English. Try to click around the base, and if you're gonna set it and forget it for a scouting effort, make sure it goes out of town center range. Because if it doesn't, you're gonna lose a scout most likely, and that's gonna be really annoying. We do have Sipahi coming out, which is nice. I think that's a really great counter into the English currently, especially with the amount of longbowmen. The English army is usually pretty stagnant until they're able to get knights on the field. So you can really, or not stagnant, but more immobile. So having a group of horsemen is really, really good, which is why you see a lot of times like Mongol players, everything like that, as the English player just instantly rush into those horsemen. They're super, super good into the longbowmen, and they make everyone do the run around, which is always really tough. And it makes the English player invest into an academy. There is the town center over here. I don't mind this spot. It's kind of nice. It protects this gold back here, and with the Sipahi coming out, we know that there's going to be at least an attempt at harass. There is the mill going down over here, next to the berries. I wonder if we're going to see wheelbarrow as well. Usually, I don't know. They have enough sheep, so I don't know if they need this, unless they're going to do wheelbarrow, which then it would make sense. So I guess we'll see if wheelbarrow comes out right afterwards. We now have 2 Sipahi being produced. Since the military schools are out, there's the blacksmith to have the aura, which is the increased rate, which is what also got nerfed. So that will be very good. Vortex is going to get a pretty, and he's also going to have wheelbarrow done way, way before his opponent. And also has double broadaxe as well. So no upgrades over here, and Vortex already has a pretty nice bustling economy. Same in villager totals, but these Sipahi are going to give Vortex map control, which is really, really nice. And what else? We had some lonely sheep. Oh no. People are harvesting. You just can't see because the sheep have the lovely bandanas. You see those things? Absolutely majestic. Every time I see them, whoever designed the sheep themselves is absolutely perfect. So the blacksmith going over here. We'll see what else Vortex can get out of these early Sipahi on the field. If nothing else, just map control and a bit of idle time, which is really nice. And there we go, a little bit of idle time. So already paid for itself, especially because it's free. That's the beautiful thing about the Ottomans. That's how to make them trade so efficiently, is if you can trade armies. Ooh, and Vortex going for a very forward town center, which I like. Right into the deer, into the berries. Huge for the Ottomans, as they don't struggle with food because of the twin marionette, but most civilizations that don't have the cleanest farm transitions, the quicker that they can get food, the better. And I love this. It's also a little bit forward, which is nice too. It makes it so that the military buildings are less susceptible to an attack at first, which can be really, really tough as the Ottomans. If these are like your first line of defense and they go down, some of the juice and the power of your civilization gets absolutely evaporated, which is always really rough. We have wheelbarrow completing. No, it's being completed over here. I was gonna say, I was like, where is it? So both economic upgrades going down for the farming. So like I said, gentleman's agreement to go past 15 minutes. We'll see if it lasts much longer. I love this response from Manedo, and that's also why you get the Sipahi early on as well. You force the English player to drop a barracks and then start to get those spearmen out. If they don't, it's going to be a long day, so it's natural. Unfortunate for that farm. I do this all the time as an English player, so this is no shade in the slightest, but I do this so much. It is infuriating. Like, just that little, it's just a little bit into the farming lane, and now you have this unperfect farm over here. It's less efficient. Obviously, it doesn't really matter, but here it is. And another farm going back here, but these Sipahi are going to be able to roam free. They're going to get one of the villagers killed. But, oof, the farm transition is going to be rough states for Manedo, honestly, because these Sipahi are going to run rounds. There's a good wall. That's nice. But are they going to get down in time? I do like when you're building a wall to send over 3 or 4 civilians. That way the wall starts to be built and the Sipahi won't have a chance of getting through, which is like what they're doing right now. So if you sent over 3 or 4 civilians, they could have each made a little piece of the wall. And once you start to make a piece of it, they can't get through it all. Even more economic upgrades coming out here from Manedo. Out here looking like a French player, just getting every single economic upgrade. Unfortunately, the English don't get any traders out of the deal, which is unfortunate for them. Vortex snipes another civilian, hasn't lost 1 Sipahi left yet. And we're already up to 5. We're going to start to hit a critical mass soon. Only 3 spearmen on the the place. That being said, the English player is keeping up very well in terms of economy due to the villager count. Vortex might be looking to age up here as well, so a fast castle-ish. I mean, it's not the fastest castle in history, and there it is, the Imperial Armory, which produces siege engines for free, but longer train time. It also increases it also can be done by the influence, which is the perfect, as you can see by the pros, they just do everything picture perfect. I mean, this is the perfect example of pros, not pros. You know what I mean? Like it's those small things that can really, really make a difference, that can really just take it to the next level. Obviously, do I think that the reason that the English player might lose this game is because they put a farm in the wrong place? No. And here's, all these berries getting absolutely roasted. Very, very unfortunate. And I see when the berries go all the way die, there's going to be another farm. So the English player really cooking right now. I would love to see maybe a white tower over here or King's Palace over here. You know what? They're better than me. Doesn't matter. I can see why that could be appealing. One, you can really, really boost your economy because it's a third town center, so you'll be up a town center, which is really nice. And it protects his wood line on the backside as well. But it is just kind of chilling over here. See, I feel like Vortex got a lot of value out of their town center. I'm seeing less value over here besides producing villagers, which is still great value, don't get me wrong. But with 7 Sipahi, a knight coming out, we have mangonels being produced. This Ottoman player is getting kind of scary, and I think it turns back into the English favorable once you hit the age 4, like Imperial Age. But I think right now is like peak, sorry about that little camera, is like peak Ottoman time to take a win. And it looks like Vortex is going to kind of lean into that right now. I think it's so funny that they pull out bows to attack the deer, but they can't pull out those same bows to attack other civilians or stuff like that, or other villagers and stuff like that. Is that anyone else bother them for that? Like, they have the bow, they just don't want to use it. Unbelievable. Villagers are just lazy. That's what it is. Yeah, you know, you really can't find. There it is. So there's the 3, but needed 4 this time. It's really that. A tale as old as time. Oh, nope. It's going to get to finish, which is nice. These spearmen are going to play it, but that one is cooked. He's like, yo, guys, can you let me back in? They're like, we haven't built the gate yet, so just take a nice little run. I've been running a lot lately, and I feel you on this one. It is tough. I've never run with a spear before, so I don't know the exact optics behind that, but I feel you on that going the extra mile, if you will. We have not much coming out of the English player, just really focusing on that economy. We have now 7 spearmen, but I believe they don't have too much production yet. They only have 2 barracks from what I can see, so those are mainly just stacked up. They're not really like in production, whereas opposed to the Ottoman players really starting to get a massive Sipahi, which is really nice. They have knights cooked into here as well, which is going to be really, really nice. And then on top of that, those free mangonels, the free armies, I think is going to really start to add up. Let's see if Vortex goes for another. Vortex is going for another mangonel. Yes, he is. So there goes the more berries. They've run out of deer. They've done everything. And building a massive force out front, we have archers now as well to absolutely evaporate the front line of the English player. We have the Metter, which got a little bit of look at how good this is. It's just crazy. That is just a crazy steroid. It's like a moving network of castles. But that being said, the English also have a network of castles, which is a little bit busted too, so it's neither here nor there. We just have a full force though right now. Just everyone's feeling it. We have the archers, we have the knights, we have a mangonel, we have tons in production. We have only 7 crossbowmen, and we have absolutely no bowmen for the English player, which is so weird to see. Not that I think bowmen would do that much better into this composition, but I just don't know who's going to do the damage. Because these 8 crossbowmen cannot out DPS 18 archers regardless. Just too much, and this is such a squishy army. This mangonel is going to try to get a shot here. We'll see if it can. Mangonel is just kind of rolling through. A lot of idle time again. And that's pretty much... They're going to see this open farm, get a few civilian kills, which is nice. This mangonel is just going to set up shop. Another mangonel is going to be rolling across the field very soon. If it gets one good shot, the mangonel is entirely worth it. That's the beautiful thing about mangonels, is like one good shot, one miss micro, and it's perfect. Mangonels are so good at destroying farmland as well, so really can make this inefficient for the English player with just a few shots. The Sipahi going to take out the forward-facing production. This is what I was talking about as well. Like, it's a little bit tough, honestly, when you get into this with the forward-facing production, because once you take it out, you can't really rebuild your army. But I think it was a little bit greedy for the English player to go for the King's Palace over here. I don't think a white tower would have completely stopped this, but I think it would have helped a lot more than just 6 people in this tower. Also, I will say too, when you get the difference in like levels, like if a better strategy might have had to come out, but if you're just gonna go straight up macro versus a pro player, this is probably what's gonna happen. Like, look at that army going absolutely insane. So if the things you can learn for if you're an Ottoman player as going into the English, which is a really tough matchup, honestly, is really just scout as much as you possibly can. Vortix knew that they were going for the second town center, which means they were able to throw down a town center in advance and really just work on their production. You also saw him cancel an early military school once he did that scout. Not once he did scout, but just when knew that he needed a little bit more, and then started to really ramp up his production and really a beautiful surround of this blacksmith, which is, I think, something you can also do as well. And now just has this death ball that I don't think can be even come close to being stopped. The mangonels are rolling out. They did get sniped. One of them did get sniped by the springhold, but like, it doesn't really matter. The Sipahi and knights are flowing in, but with this many archers, it's just going to be open season. Once they kill these spearmen, it's going to be all she wrote, and the army composition is 60-23, which is never what you want to see, especially with no really high level units. Here comes the men-at-arms, but I think they're just a little bit too late, and there's not enough production to really counteract the Metro sitting force sitting next to your, sitting in your base, just sniping everything that possibly pops out. Another mangonel coming through. There's the springhold going to be going down as well, which is a pretty big investment, which is unfortunate. These crossbowmen not being super effective, as they're incredibly effective at dealing with armored units. They're not so effective when they have no front line. And there it is, GG's. An excellently played game by both players. Vortix is showing that little bit of an extra juice. And if you decide to not utilize your civilization's advantage into a matchup, which is put on some early pressure as the English, it could lead to this. So excellently played, obviously with the caveat that this is Vortix, he's a pro player. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope that all my Ottoman fans enjoyed. If you did enjoy and you want to see more gameplay from the Ottomans, anything like that, let me know in the comments, or anything that you want to see in the future, just let me know. And yeah, please do like and subscribe, and have a great night.